want to welcome today Henry Schwaller IV, the mayor of Hays, and he is running for the city commission once again. So, Henry, why did you decide to run again?
The city is involved in a number of different projects, both short and long term, and I think it's very critical that we have commissioners who have the understanding of how to protect the funds that we have in the bank now, and secondly, make austere but adequate investments in core city services and infrastructure, and then third, work to grow the city, not only in terms of housing and retail, but just overall growth within the city through the next few years through 2020.
Okay. And how long have you been on the commission?
I was first elected in 1999, 2007 not, and re-elected in 2009.
Okay. What experiences do you believe contribute to or benefit you on the commission?
Well, it's a lot of activities that come together, but the activities that are the most important to me have involved the budget and the way we manage the city today, which is radically different from when I was elected in 1999. When I was first elected, the city had no money in the bank. What money we had actually was set aside from the water sales tax for long-term water sources. Today, we have far more than money in the bank than we ever had. We have over $50 million. $25 million is earmarked for those long-term water projects. And then we have $3 million more or less for infrastructure projects, and then $3 million in rainy day funds should our finances go south because of the economy or other factors. So the city is financially stronger than it ever has been. But that took a lot of work, and it took a lot of work of commissioners and staff to make that happen. It was a big learning experience. But I did not want to revisit the problems that we had in 1999 and 2000, and so I'm very happy we were able to do that. That really more or less formed my thoughts, again, about preserving what we have, making sure that going forward we're very careful in what we invest in, and that we put the city first.
That to accomplish that in 16 years is really a pretty amazing accomplishment.
It is unprecedented in Kansas. We probably have the best credit rating of any city in Kansas. Our credit status was just upgraded to AA, so we were very lucky to have done that, yes. But certainly the taxpayers approved it. They allowed us to do this funding mechanism where we switched the way we fund the city from property tax to sales tax, and that has been very beneficial. But we could not have done it without the support and the buy-in from Hays residents and voters.
Okay, if you are re-elected, what would you like to see accomplished?
Well, again, we have a lot of projects moving forward. Not only do we have a federally mandated wastewater treatment plant that we have to put in place by 2017, probably the biggest project we've ever done. We will begin the steps to taking our long-term water source in Edwards County and connecting it to our water supplies here. So that will be a dramatic change and improvement. And so those are the two things that come first. But more importantly is the quality of life and improving the city itself, making sure we have more retail, growth in businesses, particularly high-skilled businesses, retention of students from both the Technical College and Fort Hays State University. So just growing a better, healthier community. When people come to Hays to visit, whether it's to visit friends or business or the microbrewery or whatever brings them to town, people remark what an amazing community Hays is. And that's because of the people who live here. All I want to do is spend the next 4 years adding on to what we have done that's worked so well.
The Strong Towns philosophy promotes policies of planned growth. What do you think of the Strong Towns philosophy? There's
a lot of merit to it. There are some disadvantages to it, but the merit is that it mirrors the situation we have today. In the past, we've grown by annexing huge pieces of land, either to the north, the east, or the west. And we can continue to do that, but what we're running into is very, very expensive for the city to adopt or take in these massive acres and then add infrastructure to it. And it costs taxpayers a lot of money. In fact, the city has grown in terms of its size physically, more than it has in terms of residences, people that live here rather. So we've acquired a lot of land, and that means that we have to spend much more in city services today per resident than we did 20 or 30 years ago. So the Strong Towns philosophy says very simply that we grow within. We have a lot of property in it within the city limits that is currently served by infrastructure, but there's nothing on it. And so how can we best use the land inside the city limits today with that infrastructure and build houses and businesses and things like that? There also are parcels of property that are underutilized or could be used in another way by the current owner, and how do we encourage that? So I agree with that part, but I think there's a lot of things we can do to improve our existing area in the city limits and using our existing infrastructure, and it'd be a lot less expensive than adding additional land. Not that I'm against that, because that's one way we will grow, but it shouldn't be the only way we grow in the future.
Okay. What is your vision for the city?
That it continues to be a regional hub, not only for education and for healthcare, but it becomes a destination of choice for people who want to live in Northwest Kansas. And certainly with technology and other factors, that's changing very rapidly. And so I hope that it also Hays becomes an entrepreneurial hub, that we become known for the home of new and emerging businesses in every field of study, not just technology.
Okay. I know there is a bit of an issue with mid-priced single-family homes in the community. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a very complicated situation. If one were to go to the Hays realtor site, the multi-list site, you find that homes with certain price points, so 150, 170, 190,000, there are over 84 or 85 homes within that element. Certainly 150 and less, $150,000 and less, there are probably anywhere from 35 to 45 homes in that price point. Are they all winners? No, they're not. But we certainly do hear from people who want to live here that it is a little more expensive. That's because there's a greater demand for housing than there is in other communities like Hays. The city should do whatever it can to remedy the problem. The Strong Towns philosophy might help because, again, when we're building new construction today, we not only have the cost of the land and then the construction, but then there are special assessments and things on top of it. Sometimes the special assessments on a new piece of property where a home is greater than the price of the lot. And so the city should work more diligently to find out what we can do to fix this problem.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on contributing to outside agencies such as the arts, the city contributing to the Arts Council and making those types of contributions?
Well, they're critical. Of course, there are two broad types of outside agencies that we support. One is through the redistribution of the alcohol money, the alcohol tax that we collect here in Hays, and that comes back from the state. And barring any problem at the state level, with the state budget the way it is, that money should continue to come back here. We spend that on service agencies, and that should absolutely continue. And should that alcohol money go away, and that is a possibility, we should continue to fund those agencies as well, because they provide, again, it's First Call for Help, the Cancer Council, there are others as well, Access Transportation. There's no doubt about it. The quality of life and the tourism and economic development agencies that you mentioned should also be funded as well. We put parameters in place, about a decade ago, in that their funding is capped, and any changes have to be approved by the commission. But we have capped their funding to a certain level that they received, and barring any unforeseen circumstances, that's how we should fund them in the future.
Okay. And town-gown relations with Fort Hays State University, what can be done to improve those?
Well, yeah, that's a fancy word for marketing that I learned in college, and I still don't know what that means, but I guess it's the thought that, I don't know, I guess it's just a disconnect between two things. But we're very lucky in that Fort Hays is very much part of the community, and so there isn't this distance or this disconnect. The city has been a long-standing partner with the university. We fund a significant scholarship that brings a lot of students here, and they do, and the Fort Hays does a lot for the community as well. But one of the things that's different about Hays and about other communities, whether it's Emporia or Pittsburgh or even Lawrence or Manhattan, is that those communities have a sense of pride about having a university there. And so when you go to Lawrence, there's a lot of Jayhawks present, and when you're in Manhattan, there's a lot of purple, a lot of Wildcat. Here, you go downtown, there is nothing that, other than a banner maybe hanging from a light pole, there's nothing that distinguishes Hays from any other town in Kansas. So just as a person, I would like to see more of a relationship and a recognition that this is Tiger Country and that we're part of the Fort Hays State family. Other than that, I think our relationship with the university as a community is outstanding, and we're lucky to have it.
Okay. And finally, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're employed, that type of thing.
Well, I was born and raised here and attended Hays High School. After graduation, I attended the University of Kansas and received an undergraduate degree in business and psychology and then a master's in business administration. I worked for a couple of firms. I worked for Dillard's department store in a management training program in Fort Worth, Texas. And I worked for a large direct marketing company based out of Philadelphia. It no longer exists. And then when my father passed away, I moved back to run the family business. And I currently work for that business and working with my family, and I also teach full-time at the university. With a lot of other interests, I'm on the state board for the arts, state advocate for the arts, and actually so many other things as well. But I'm very lucky to be in Hays. I'm very lucky to have a home in Hays. It's a great place, and there's really no other place like it. That said, there are a lot of things that we need to improve and make better, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much.